I look at myself as kind of like a conductor in an orchestra.
This is the most striking car I've ever seen.
Pepper spray dispenser, electrified door handles, magnetic deadbolts.
Dispenser like for nail polish. Major names like Chris Brown and Jamie Foxx and The Weeknd.
Customers like Cristiano Ronaldo, Damon John from Shark Tank.
Wild desire. Oh, I'm just gonna start my own name car brand.
I wanted to design cool looking cars.
Approved by Ferris
Yeah,
Rezvani.
design and military.
Do women wear heels there on a military base?
Cars are the closest thing that a mechanical thing can be to an organism, to a living organism.
It's just driving. There's something from out of the like sci-fi movie.
Maybe an alien actually sitting next to you.
Ready for the apocalypse.
Where there's a will, there is definitely a way. The money will follow.
Just gonna go against this billion-dollar companies who have so much funding.
The automotive industry is second most expensive after aerospace. And there's a reason why they cost that much.
It looks so sexy to me. I would definitely own the Vengeance.
MrBeast just has a humongous production. I'll be honest with you, I was a little nervous.
Not even a scratch.
Welcome to the Basic Show with Viktorija Pashuta.
Hi, Ferris.
Hello.
Welcome to the Basic Show. So my first question is that you are such an inspirational figure in the car world. You built a boutique brand that blends luxury design with military-grade defense. So what was the moment or your mindset that first sparked the idea of building the vehicles that look like ready for the apocalypse, but also inside they feel like a private jet?
Yeah. I think it goes back to my childhood. I grew up, my dad was a fighter pilot, so I grew up on the Air Force Base in Lackland, Texas. And just seeing the power of some of these aircraft and military vehicles, I was always awed by them. They had this very strong, powerful energy to them. And they also had some design to it as well. Aircraft have some design to it. So that really sparked my interest. And ever since then, when I was even in class, I would be looking at military vehicles and airplane books and things like that. And as I got older, I fused the two, design and military inspired by by that. And I think it creates, an emotion that's very powerful. I think they're very powerful things. And, I feel that cars are the closest thing that a mechanical thing can be to an organism, to a living organism.
Well, I never thought that way. Okay.
So we connect to cars, and I really connected to them. So that's how it really, from my childhood is where it really, really started.
Do you remember your first time behind the wheel? What was that and what did you feel? The first time you ever found yourself behind the wheel?
I learned how to drive on an old Datsun, manual transmission Datsun.
On the manual?
Yeah.
How old were you?
So I was 15 and a half.
Okay.
And so learning manual and learning how to drive on a 1979 Datsun, that was my very first car to learn. And so, I still remember that moment.
Did you crash it? No?
No, I didn't crash, luckily. I didn't crash it. But it was, it was a sense of freedom, you get, and you can, go faster than, you normally can.
Yeah.
So,
So what was your experience? I cannot imagine living on the, in the military environment. I mean, do women wear heels there on a military base? Like, walk me through that day when you lived.
Well, when we were growing up, the families on the base were very close together.
Yeah.
Close. So, the kids always played together and the families interacted together. That was during the 70s.
Which state was it?
It was in Texas.
In Texas.
Yeah,
and how old were you when you moved to California?
I was 9 when we first moved to California. Yeah, but I was around 4, 5, and 6 on the base. So
your company has been featured like on Jay Leno and MrBeast and even mentioned on Joe Rogan. So which was a massive visibility for what started as a boutique company. Take us back to the beginning. How did you start? What kind of investment did you have to start a car company?
Well, the automotive industry is second most expensive after aerospace. So it is a very expensive industry to get into. And so, we started, by developing a really beautiful design, and the market really, loved it. And I remember we got an order for one, and it was really just a render at the time. We hadn't built it. So I'm like, gosh, now we got to build it,
Was
and
it the
so
Beast?
It was the Beast.
The Beast,
Yeah, it was the Beast. And so, I just, basically learned how to, how cars are made and how to make cars, and hired the right people, and
So did you have first like a proof of concept, right?
yes, we did have a proof of concept. And also, it's, I look at myself as kind of like a conductor in an orchestra. I don't play any musical instruments, but I know what sounds good. And you have each individual, instrument play, and you know what it sounds like. So that's kind of how entrepreneurial I think entrepreneurs are. We don't ever get into the minutia of everything, but we know what sounds good, and we kind of get all the resources in. So I kind of look at myself as that, and that's really, what I did. You just have this kind of instinct for whatever area you're interested in, as an entrepreneur, and you're able to bring those things in.
Right. Well, you had a vision, right? Because you can find people have certain skills in very narrow niches of something very specific, but you had that grander vision. You probably knew what you wanted to do, but you might not didn't know how, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And when you have that drive, you figure out how. You figure out how to do it, and if you make a mistake or you fail at something at any time, then you just figure out one more way it doesn't work, right? So you just
Do you believe like sometimes when you have too much information, you kind of get scared and you say, oh my God, it's too much to do. I will never be able to do it. But when you just have that obsessive idea, you don't even care how, and you don't think about the funds or how you're going to accomplish it. You're just going to go for it, right? Is it like,
that old term, where there's a will, there's a way, and it really is true.
Yeah.
Where there's a will, there is definitely a way, and you can find a way to do it. So anyway, that was kind of how we start. I started, and it was definitely a lot of failures, and you get back up, you learn, and that's kind of exciting too. When you're learning something new as you're doing it, and it's you don't get bored. Some of my previous, engagements or jobs that I had, I would get bored after a while.
So what did you do before, Rezvani, if you might share?
Yeah, so before I was actually in software.
Okay.
Yep, and I got bored.
Very exciting job.
Yeah, very exciting. So I got bored out of that, and this was way more exciting than that. Yeah.
So one day you just like, okay, I want to build a car. I'm just going to go against this billion-dollar company. So I have so much funding, huge teams. And I'm just going to build this company, because what you've done, it's like really incredible. I don't think you realize yourself how incredible of a work you've done, especially in such a short time.
Yeah, it was for me, I wanted to design cool looking cars, that come out of a video game, your imagination, that inspire emotion. And I was always like, why are they so expensive? I wish they were more attainable, and so that was one of my goals to go into it, is to make it, more attainable. And there's a reason why they cost that much. It's the price of that type of thing, because there is so much that goes into it. So, but that was the reason I really started it and was driven to that that thing. Yeah.
So speaking of the specifics, a lot of people ask, like, what is the chassis? What's the engine? Can you talk us? I mean, for the geeks, I don't get any of that, but maybe for your geek followers, can you tell us a little bit what's on the inside of your cars?
Yeah, absolutely. So we build on production platforms because it is so expensive nowadays to go to develop a ground up chassis with all the engineering that's needed to be done right. It takes a lot of R&D and resources and a lot of time. So for me, there's plenty of great engines, there's plenty of great chassis out there, but the exterior designs were boring. They were just boring and mundane. And when I had a picture, a poster on my wall, it was a cool looking car. It was the design that captured me. It was the design that's why they,
Do you remember what was it? Which poster was it?
Well, I had some Porsches and Lamborghini. Of course, Lamborghinis are always, extravagant and so forth. And so the design was really what I wanted to focus on, because that's, in my opinion, what made it thing different. Everything else you could do pretty easily. So we based it on a production chassis. So, Tank is based on the Jeep Wrangler platform, Vengeance on the new Escalade platform. And then, of course, we upgrade the engines, the drivetrain, we supercharge, turbocharge, put new engines in them. to create, the sound and the fury and the and the design to the eyes and everything else. And we have several new models coming out, and those are also based on, some of the top of the line, best of breed, proven platforms, that are, that are engineered properly and proven.
Well, you definitely achieve your goal because this is the most striking car I've ever seen. And at one time, accidentally saw it in Beverly Hills. And I just looked at the people like, what is this car? It's just driving. There's something from out of the sci-fi movie. You just look at this car and see it on the road. Like, I can't believe this is actually a real vehicle created, 8 years ago, 10 years ago. It's incredible.
Yeah. And really the challenge is really to be, a car should look like a car, and it should look like it belongs on the road. So the challenge is really to push the design envelope as much as we can, but still make it look like it belongs. There are some cars out there. There's one particular car out there that just doesn't look like it belongs on the road. It just looks very odd, but that's
ugly.
the key. Yeah.
So, like, what?
So that's a key is to make it so it belongs on the road, but it's different and extreme and exclusive and unique. Yeah.
So again, like we discussed, your cars blend art, engineering, and defense tech. So can you tell us a little bit more about the team who's behind building this amazing beasts?
Absolutely. A lot of the team are, obviously they're enthusiasts of cars. They love cars, and they love being involved in something new and different. That's more exciting. A lot of car designers they're siloed, and they live a very lonely existence because, in big car companies, one designer just does a headlight, another one does the tail light, another one does, the side, and they all do one piece, and then the overall design director kind of looks at it as a whole. So their dream is to design their own car. So, they love working with us because we can really bring their,
vision to life.
Vision, and it really makes them alive as creators and as artists to be able to do that. So that's been exciting to get them involved. And then on the engineering side, of course, there are plenty of best of breed, performance tuning and suspension tuning, all kinds of stuff like that as well. And then, hand built. Our cars are hand built.
Oh, wow.
Which is a really old, dying art. And nobody builds cars by
What do you
hand.
mean hand? You have like little dwarfs, little tools and carving them out.
Yeah, they're kind of, because it's so low volume. In order to,
Maintain the quality.
Yeah, and maintain quality, exclusivity, and so forth. So they are all hand built, hand assembled. Wow. The interiors, the exteriors, and so forth. Yeah.
Do you do like a secret signature on each of the models and like put little stamp like up of approval somewhere? No, in the car.
We have done that in the past. Yeah, that is a great idea. And I mean, a few clients have asked for that.
I think you should, like a secret one, like in some unexpected place, nobody knows. Just have like a little nice stamp approved by Ferris Rezvani.
Like underneath the car somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, you got it.
Right? Hey, you're welcome. And your cars, they look so massive and masculine, but they also look so sexy to me. Do you have any female owners or women who actually are the owners of Rezvani cars?
Absolutely. We have several female owners, actually. We have, a Vengeance owner where she, drives her car, heavily armored one, too. She drives it daily with her kids in it.
That must be the coolest childhood. I mean, you're a kid in the back of the car from like sci-fi movie.
To be picked up in school.
Picked up at school. Yeah. Oh my God.
And then, we have another female owner in San Diego, and she's really cool, very artistic, and, she loves design. So yeah, we have several female owners, actually.
Wow, that's incredible. I aspire that I could be one of them in the near future. Definitely need to own. I would definitely own the Vengeance. And speaking of that car, I'm actually going to read it out because when I saw the tour of Rezvani Vengeance on Instagram, it blew my mind. This is what it had. So we're talking about carbon fiber armor, bulletproof glass, explosive underbody protection, run-flat tires, night vision, a smoke screen system, pepper spray dispensers. I mean, and even electrified door handles. So it feels like it's from some kind of intense futuristic movie. How do you even begin designing something like that? Do you imagine a scenario and design first, or you start with the tech first?
So the inspiration came from Knight Rider. As a kid, I used to watch Knight Rider, and of course James Bond. But Knight Rider was really cool with with David Hasselhoff, and so a lot of that inspiration came from that. Those features. So we would sit there and think about what other feature can we use? Can we put in? And there's a few features that we did put in the beginning that we had to remove because they were just a little too much.
I have some suggestions. I
Yeah.
think there should be like a dispenser, like for nail polish, or like a special compartment for your lipstick, something like.
Why don't cars have that, right?
So let's say if I want that, can you customize anything for your clients? How crazy somebody can go?
We can, absolutely, we can.
Really?
That's a great idea. Let's put that together to see what
I'm definitely
options
gonna
we can
start
put
making
in.
some wish lists on that.
Yes.
Okay, my mind already is like
The car industry is too male oriented, right?
male oriented, right?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Sometimes I thought they not even designed to wear heels when you drive. Like my foot sometimes doesn't even reach the pedal.
Okay.
To wear
Well,
like
there you go.
extra.
I think we found a new opportunity.
There you go, absolutely. And so you got so much attention, especially from the celebrity world. I mean, you got some major names like Chris Brown and Jamie Foxx and The Weeknd driving Rezvani cars. How did the celebrity fan base come around? Do they use these vehicles like as everyday rides, or it's more for collector items for them?
A lot of them are artists themselves. They're creators. They like unique things, and they also appreciate unique things. And so, that's how they found us. And we have customers like Cristiano Ronaldo, Damon John from the Shark Tank. A lot of entrepreneurs as well as creators. So they have an eye for it. They have an eye for unique things, and when they see it, they fall in love with it. Something different.
Was it something about I saw a picture of, I forgot the name of the celebrity, had the truck designed or covered in gold, like a golden truck?
Yeah, we've had clients.
Yeah, I was just like, wow, this is incredible. How can you, I mean, that's definitely an attention-seeking person. I mean, let me just drive this very unique, exotic car and also covered in gold. How much more can you imagine, yeah?
Yeah, there are those. Yeah, we've had a few clients like that as well.
So you don't say no to anybody, to any wild desire, you can make it true. You're like a magician, huh?
We try to steer them away from some really bad choices and decisions, but generally speaking, if it fits, if we're okay with our name on the back of that car.
That's what I wanted to ask. Would you still care, right? Because it's still your name on it. So if your customer wants something outrageous, would you say no?
Yeah, there's
say no.
limits definitely.
I like that. Keeping your boundaries, keeping it to the brand on brand.
There's tasteless riches sometimes,
Exactly. So since we talked about the Rezvani's car that built to order, which make them ultra rare, right? And they're completely customizable. How much does one of these tactical luxury beasts actually cost? And what kind of customization options do you offer? Or what customization options come as a base and what features you could potentially add?
Yeah, so we have, so there's really two basic models. There's non-armored version and there's the armored version. The armored version is the one that gets all the bells and whistles. So, pepper spray dispenser, electrified door handles, magnetic deadbolts, smoke screen, EMP protection, strobe lights, sirens. There's a lot. We even used to have tacks. That would drop tacks.
The what?
The giant nails. It would dispense it from behind the car.
Oh my God! No way.
But we only offered it for a couple of clients, and then we didn't carry it anymore. It was just too much,
too intense,
dangerous. And then the interior is where the clients love their freedom. That's where they really start getting attached to the car, and they come in, they select their patterns and their stitching colors and their leather colors, and we've done purple, violet interiors, we've done all white, everything, and headliner and everything is white, carpet white, everything. We've done, so they really love to do that, and I think that's something we offer because they can't get that through the bigger OEMs. Something very unique, exclusive, and personal to them. So that's where it really was. And then there's other features that, things like, certain compartments that they need, like a rifle compartment or safes, a bulletproof sunroof.
You can have a safe
inside
inside of the car. Where would you put it?
You can put your jewelry in it, or you can put a
No,
gun.
no. Where would you put the safe?
Oh, the safe?
Yeah.
It's in the center console.
In the center.
In the center console, you can kind of lift up and put
Wow.
whatever you want in there. Also, for a larger one, there's one in the back in the trunk area. So they could put various different things. And really, we've had all kinds of requests and thing customizations that we do.
Yeah, I've seen some of the videos because people ask me, are these cars really bulletproof? And I've seen one of the videos, the test videos you've done. It's like not even a scratch. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. MrBeast actually.
MrBeast, right? That was his video, right?
Yeah, he blew up a bomb underneath it. And when he called us, we're like, okay, we've never really tested that in that way before.
So was it real?
Yeah, absolutely. It was 100% real.
So it wasn't like special effects?
No,
or anything
there was no
like
special effects. It was 100% real. And that video, I think, has like 450 million views on
my goodness.
online. So yeah, he blew up blew up one car, it blew up, and then did.
Yeah,
blew up
sure.
on
Let's
another
just
one.
blow up a car, just
I'll be honest with you, I was a little nervous. When we
I
were
bet.
back there standing. There were fire trucks everywhere, kind of waiting for it to happen, and I was very nervous. I'm like, this.
Wait,
is...
were you there? Were you present?
Yeah, I was there.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
we
were there?
Yeah.
How far were you from the car?
Oh man, we were probably, I don't know, maybe about 700-800 feet away.
Where was it? I mean,
away.
what can you even do this kind of experiment?
It was in the desert in the LA area.
Okay, so it was here.
Yeah. And I mean, it's a huge production. I mean, MrBeast just has a humongous production. It was like a movie set. The amount of people there and resources there. So it blew my mind because when I see YouTube videos and things like that, it just seems like just somebody with an iPhone, just one or two people shooting. But there were like probably about 300-400 people, 500 people with luxury bathrooms and trailers. So it was really cool. Yeah, so that was.
I can imagine like you were nervous, but probably you felt so proud. Imagining like you built something so amazing that it's not just a regular car. It's something that really, amazes people. It's like I would say it's a work of art mixed with, next level technology.
Yeah. Thanks. It is. We want to try to push all the envelope. Yeah.
So imagine a scenario if Elon Musk one day called you and asked you to design the first armored vehicle for Mars mission. What would it look like? And what absolutely ridiculous feature would you sneak in just for fun?
Oh gosh, definitely big wheels and tires. Off-road looking, and let's see, a fun feature in it. Oh man.
Something high for the aliens. Hi.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe an alien actually sitting next to you.
Right.
That'd be fun.
That would be nice. I'll definitely go into that mission.
Yeah.
Because I would totally feel safe.
Yes.
If you get in that vehicle, I mean, man, you can just go into the end of the world, right? All right, it's that time of the day for commercial break, and we would like to thank our sponsors. Oh, wait, we don't have any sponsors for this episode, but we do have Jathan and his famous dad jokes. Okay, Jathan, give me some extremely hilarious dad joke.
Hello.
Hey, how you been?
I'm not too shabby. How are you?
Good, I like your Spider-Man t-shirt.
Go Spidey.
Go Spidey. 6th grade. You're gonna get canceled again. I'm crying too much. Your mom is gonna be proud.
Oh,
Hi,
man.
Mom.
What's
Hi,
happening?
Mom. We're on the route
Shout
to
out,
be
Mom.
famous.
Shout out,
What we're
Mom.
gonna do to be famous. Okay. Insta fame. All right, so what was the hilarious joke about?
All right, so I heard about this diet, and I think I'm going to try it. It's the We can't do this at the end of the day.
10 hours in. 10
Can't do this.
10 hours in, trying to crack some jokes.
Okay, start over.
People are paying for this. Are they?
No, I'm the sponsor.
You're the sponsor. Your ad, by the way, could be right here. Don't miss out. All right, so Dolly Parton.
Yeah, the Dolly Parton diet.
Okay.
Because I heard it makes Jolene. You know, Jolene. Jolene. I heard it made Joe lean, so I want to try the diet.
Who sings it?
Dolly Parton, Jolene.
Well, I'm not from here.
Okay.
Okay, that was a fail.
On to joke number 2.
Joke number 2.
When I was a young child, I was kidnapped by a group of mimes.
You were a young child.
They did unspeakable things to me. And the last one.
That was it. That was the joke. Who came up with it?
I don't know. I found it somewhere.
That person should be executed. Okay, let's hear the third joke.
And the third, and hopefully last one, is what
hopes
did
for the third joke.
what did the drummer name his twins?
What did the drummer name his twins?
Yes.
Wait, the drummer had the twins?
Yes.
Beetle bottle juice.
And a 1 and a 2. Ba-bung. That's all I got.
I didn't get that one either.
When you start a song, and a 1 and a 2. Man, weird.
I'm a tough audience.
Should do these in the morning.
All right, well, that was the end of our segment for the sponsors. Thank you for watching. If you like this episode, please like, subscribe, comment, because apparently that's what's gonna get us the likes and make us into top 10 episodes on YouTube. So you're building cars that could survive the apocalypse, right? So let's say society collapses tomorrow. What 3 things would be in your Rezvani vengeance when you drive off into the wasteland? Like the first 3 things you would take with you.
Let's see. I would definitely take some, some water, of course, some solar panels, to be able to, power whatever you want to power. And then take some funny videos that you can watch to get your mind off things, I guess.
I like that, yeah. So if you go down, you go down laughing.
Yeah,
smiling.
go down laughing. That's the way.
I love that.
Exactly.
Okay. And something personal. Give us a little bit of the background of Ferris behind your legacy, behind your work. So when you're not building armored beasts, what does your ideal off-grid day look like?
Let's see. So, I'm obviously a workaholic. I'm always working. And when I, turn off beast mode is what I call it. I love getting in a convertible and just going for a nice drive, hearing the exhaust sound, the wind, the smells in the air that you can smell in a convertible. You're in tune with the machine and the road and everything around you. So that really puts me at peace, and really, it's really nice. I'm also a big foodie. I love trying new foods and things like that.
A question about the perspective of, you mentioned some challenges you went through, right? So did it ever cross your mind that, you want to give up Rezvani and do something else? Was it a time in your life when you felt it's so tough, it's unrealistic, some challenges that you couldn't go through? And if you did, what helped you to kind of go through that moment?
Yes, absolutely. There were definitely times that things get very tough and rough, and you're like, what? I could have gone into something a lot simpler and cheaper, and there's probably better ideas. Why did I choose the most difficult industry as to deal with? As a product for consumers, right? It's one of the most difficult. Why can't I just sell something off Amazon?
Exactly.
So, but what got me back in is just, how far we've come and how difficult it's been, and the future. And also, I think about some of the people we've inspired, the fans, and so forth, that feel that they can do they can do this. So those inspirations kind of make me feel, kind of feel like it has some meaning to continue.
Right,
And
right.
of course, I love what I do. I absolutely love what I do.
Yeah.
So
Well, if you think about it, a lot of people have ideas, right? I talk to so many people and they always have millions of ideas. I can do this, I want to do that. But only few people actually take that idea and make it happen because you really need to live that idea. You really need to dream that concept 24/7. Like you're saying, you're workaholic, right? You really devoted your life to this project, to this dream of yours, and you made it happen. What do you think is the advice, or maybe what actually you think motivated you to be so resilient in such a difficult industry and just keep going, keep pushing?
I think loving what I do, definitely. I think, a lot of younger people always, ask me you know, how do you start? What do I go
Yeah.
into and things like that. And I always, I really think that if you love anything, if you love a subject or love what you do, and you have some talent for it, the money will follow. You will be successful. If you're the best plumber, you're going to grow an empire. If you're the, whatever it is that you are the best of, art, fashion, I mean, you're like yourself. I mean, I always admire how, when everyone's getting out of print, you're going into print, and then you make, the best quality magazine, the coolest, best fashion. You do it right. You do it, you do it right. You love it. You live it,
And it's so challenging. And I feel like my industry is similar to yours, is very difficult because it involves so many different processors and layers, from like creative part to production to marketing to really like finding, fine tuning and following the trends, from like following the trends to creating the trends. And same in your business. But I mean, I don't know much about the car industry, but I haven't seen any celebrities who like, oh, I'm just going to start my own name car brand, right? They start with tequila, right? Or like with a nail polish or a beauty product. But I haven't seen any celebrity who could do what you do. Even they might have access to unlimited funds. So that means what you do, even if you do have the funds, you really have to have that tenacity and passion and dedication to your job, to your craft, to really make it happen. What you do, and I know you're so humble. You're such a humble person. You probably don't even realize the amazing things you've done with your brand. That's really, really incredible. And speaking of something off the beat, what can you define to me what masculinity means to you, and if it has changed through the times for you?
yeah, I think for me, obviously masculinity was watching the Incredible Hulk, as a kid. That was when I was a child. That was, masculinity, yeah, muscle,
Yeah.
right? And then, growing up through as a teenager, bodybuilding and doing that was kind of masculine. Not showing emotion, things like that. And of course, as I've gotten older, masculinity has become, I guess for me, is directing that aggressive energy, not to being dominant or not to acting a certain way or this way or building yourself up, but really directing that to something that you can build, whether it's building a business or whether it's creating something or being the best at your job, or really directing that energy to that. I see a lot of like YouTube trying to define masculinity, and they're all about, yeah, you gotta treat women bad, and you gotta, treat other people bad, and you gotta be dominant to other people. And that is not masculinity. Masculinity is directing the masculine energy into something that is civilized in today's world, but also that creating something, right? Creating a business or making something. And that to me is true masculinity.
So, if you had to design any iconic movie car, like a Batmobile or DeLorean or Mad Max Interceptor, which one would you give the Rezvani treatment to and why?
Well, two of my favorite cars are the Batmobiles and, of course, Knight Rider because I'm the luck but the Batmobiles are so much cool. So we actually have a new model that we just released. It's called the Dark Knight.
Oh, wow.
And it is essentially based on that thing, and comes from that world. That it has all the gadgets and the armor.
Yeah, what kind of gadgets do that out?
It has all the same kind of gadgets that we offer. But the other cars.
And design looks a little bit different, as like Batman ears.
Not quite that way. It's a little more elegant in my way. But it is called the Dark Knight and is inspired sort of with that theme in mind.
So it's called Rezvani Dark Knight. Okay, I gotta look out for that one. And so your cars already feel like something James Bond or Tony Stark would drive. Which superhero or action character do you think would actually buy one in real life?
Oh, geez, I would say it's definitely Iron Man because, Iron Man is just a normal guy, but he wears this armor suit and becomes somebody else, right? And so I think when we drive a car, we are somehow wearing an Iron Man suit. We're wearing something that is, is dressed in expression of ourselves, but also gives us superhuman powers, right? You can go fast. Yeah, we can get places. We can turn quick. It gives us a certain emotion. So I think I always feel like it's an Iron Man suit because of the powers that it gives you.
So and speaking about the future, would you ever or did it ever cross your mind to collaborate with any of the fashion designer, rapper, or gaming company to build a limited edition Rezvani? And or who is your dream collab?
So yeah, I mean all of those. Video games. I'm a big, I love Star Wars and those types of things. So I'd love to do a collab with Battlefront, all of those video games like that. Our cars are on several of these, Asphalt and Forza and some of the other car games. But I really, love to do that. So I've done these white cars that are kind of similar to like Stormtrooper or something like that. And fashion brands, yeah, I have a lot of respect for fashion brands and how they are constantly reinventing new things, on the jewelry side, I really admire Roberto Coin. Is one of my favorite jewelry designers, and on sort of the mainstream fashion brands, probably Bulgaria. I like their designs.
If you go back and give your 20-year-old one piece of advice, not about business, but about life, what would it be?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Hey, little Ferris, just want you to know.
I would say to look deep in yourself and follow what you really want, not what other people say or influence you to do or think you should do. Do what your gut feeling tells you. Your intuition, your intuition is always right. It's so right. I think a lot of times your mind just kind of confuses you by thinking too much. So I think just listening to your intuition, following your intuition, and from the start, because I probably would have started the car company way earlier if I would have listened to my future self. But then that kind of gone into software and some of the other things that at the time was there.
Well, I wish you the best. I want you to know I'm really, really proud of what you achieved. And I'm really happy you came to the Basic Show and share your story. And I cannot wait what the world holds for Rezvani like years from now.
Thank you.
All the best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ferris.